If you don't know enough words, you can't speak a language. Period. No amount of listening, reading, or immersion will save you if you don't have the words to express yourself. So how do you fix this? In the next few minutes, I'll show you the fastest way to memorize thousands of words and actually use them in conversation. Let's get started. My name is Mika Tellería Mujica, and I am a hyperpolyglot. I speak a dozen languages, and I developed a fast and efficient language learning system in the Innovation Center of the University of Deusto in San Sebastian, Spain. I've helped thousands of people learn languages fast. And this is the truth about language learning. Vocabulary is the most important thing. You need to learn more words, and you need to learn them faster. Because if you don't know enough words, you simply can't understand the language and you can't speak. So you need to learn more words. But I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do for that. If you ask any language YouTuber or language guru online how to learn vocabulary, most of them will say, just immerse yourself in the language, read more, watch more videos in the language, listen more, and speak to people. And all of that's fine, and it's helpful, but it's very slow. It's extremely slow, in fact. Reading and listening is painfully slow when it comes to acquiring vocabulary, because you need to already know a lot of vocab to be able to read and listen and understand the language to keep learning. And if you want to learn by talking to people, you will learn a few words quickly in the beginning, the ones that you need. You learn really basic vocab very quickly, but then you'll very quickly get stuck and you will stop improving, and you will always stay at the beginner level. So this is my advice. Yes, do all of that, immerse yourself, talk to people, read in the language, listen to the language, watch videos, do all of that as much as you want or as much as you can. But make sure you are learning vocabulary deliberately. Vocabulary should be your number one priority, because if you don't know the words, you will not be able to speak and you won't understand what you read or listen to or watch. So you need to do more vocabulary learning. So how do you study vocabulary the right way? The best way to learn vocabulary and do it fast is by using word lists. I'm talking about frequency lists, the most common 1,000 words, the most common 2,000 words, 5,000 words, 10,000 words, etc. And you learn them as fast as you can. You study them using a combination of mnemonics, word families, spaced repetition, and speed reading. Let's start with word families. A word family is a group of words that are similar. They've got similar roots and they all look similar. Like organized, organized, disorganized, organization, etc. That would be a word family. If you learn words in groups of similar words, you'll be able to learn a lot more words a lot faster. Because once you can recognize one word, you'll be able to recognize all the other ones as well. Now, the difficult thing is remembering all the words, or at least one word of the group. And that's where I recommend using mnemonic associations. Mnemonic associations are the fastest and most effective way to memorize random words. Random words, words that you can't learn logically. There's no logic behind what a word sounds like in a foreign language if that language is not related to the languages you already speak. There's no way to logically figure out the meaning behind it. You simply have to learn the new word, right? So you can use mnemonics for that. Once you've memorized new words, you need to review them. And the best way is using example sentences. For every word you learn, read an example sentence. This helps you learn in context how the word is actually used in real life. And instead of just reading random articles or books or things like that, or watching videos, you review a list of example sentences of all the words that you have been learning from the vocab list. This is much more effective and time efficient. You also need to apply spaced repetition. You shouldn't just read it once, you should keep rereading that list of example sentences again and again and again. Spaced repetition is extremely important in language learning as well as when learning anything, really. And speaking of really powerful techniques, active recall is another technique you should be using. Active recall is, according to neuroscience, the most effective way to learn new information. This is how top students study. And it works really well for language learning too. Basically, you need to translate into the target language and then check for feedback. You do it with words and sentences you've already seen at least once. Obviously, you can't translate words into a language if you don't know the words before, if you haven't seen those words before. But seeing them just once and then trying to recall, trying to remember how to say those words in the target language and then checking if you said them correctly or not. This is extremely effective because your brain is solving a problem and your brain is filling the gaps, and you are learning from your mistakes because you make a lot of mistakes when doing this, but you'll learn very, very fast by doing this. Again, this is how top students learn, study. You review the content you need to learn once, and then you test yourself again and again and again. Constant testing. And that's it. That's how you learn vocabulary fast. You use vocabulary lists ordered in groups of similar words, word families. You memorize some of the keywords using mnemonic associations, and then you review the lists again and again using example sentences, spaced repetition. You do it not just once or twice, you do it dozens of times throughout several weeks. And you use active recall. You translate those words and sentences from your native language or your working language into the target language, the language you're trying to learn. Translate, you test your knowledge, you translate into the target language and then check. You keep doing this until you've learned the 5,000 or 10,000 most common words, and then you'll be able to understand pretty much everything and you'll be able to speak fluently. That's it. That's the fastest way to learn vocabulary in a new language. And again, vocabulary is the most important thing in language learning because if you don't know the words, you won't be able to understand or speak. So stop wasting time and start learning the smart way. You can try my 7-day challenge if you want to learn 150 conversational sentences to become conversational in any language in a week, in 7 days. The link is in the description.